Så på den gule dernede.
Så er vi alle sammen.
Det var godt.
Ja.
Er I klar?
Ja.
Og nu kommer den.
Du der, kys. Jeg kan ikke trykke på min.
Sådan, så kører vi.
Hey.
Ja. Ja. Vi har trykket alle sammen.
Alle? Ja. Kommer vi hjemme? Ja, nu. Kommer vi hjemme? Hvad? Er vi alle sammen plan?
Ja, vi har samme...
Vi er sammen plan. Hvem er nummer? Ja. Det var jeg. Hey. Kom nu. Mor. Far. Du. Far. Hvorfor er du ikke med?
Ja, jeg er oppe.
Ja. Ej, nummer 1. Ej, nummer 1.
Ja. Nej, jeg er nummer 2, ven. Jeg er rød nummer 2.
Det slår jeg vel. Det gør ikke. Det slår mig. Hvad er det? Far, kom herover. Hør den her musik.
Nu er du godt, men jeg selv spiser. Ja.
Skal vi alle sammen hoppe ud? Nej. Far nu!
Okay.
Jeg vil ud! Hey, far da! Hov, her er du, far. I kommer efter.
Bare kom ned.
Der er du, Hasse. Jeg kommer efter dig. Ja, vi alle sammen mødes. Ja. Far,
Ja.
vi er venner.
Ja, faren til lytter med på.
Ja, tak. Jeg mister dig bare liv. Kan du lade vi møde sammen? Ja. Ej, hvad hører på en krosser? Far, nej. Altså, du kan ikke slippe efter mig. Jeg tager bare krosser. Jeg tager på far bare med.
Pas nu på.
Okay.
Vi kan godt samle ham op, ikke om ven?
Okay.
Vi skal vinde det her. Det handler ikke om at tabe.
Okay, hop på min. Tryk på F. F her. Tryk. Lidt fremad. Hassan kan ikke trykke på F, far, fordi der lyser rød. Rød betyder, jeg kan ikke
Skynd jer at få nogle våben.
Far, hop på min.
Ja, men skynd jer at få våben. Ikke?
Far,
Ja. Falke, skynd dig nu at få nogle våben, så du er klar til, hvis der er nogen, der kommer, så vi kan skyde dem, ikke?
der tager jeg en våben. Ja, jeg er også en våben. Sådan er det. Hurtigt. Jeg er bygget hurtigt. Jeg kan ikke. Nej, tag min krosser. Du må ikke tage min krosser. Far, hvad som med os hen? Krosser. Mig som bestyrer. Eva.
Falke, har du taget alt det der inde i huset?
Den her inde, og den virker ikke så godt. Den er bare
Jamen, den har jeg. Ikke skyde helt. Hallo?
Jeg skød Hassan, fordi han tager min krosser.
Ja, men den går ikke, Hassan. Eller Falke. Vel?
Det er fordi, jeg hjælper dig, så skal jeg nok gå din vej. Jeg hjælper dig.
Ja, Falke, prøv lige at kigge her. Du skal... Hassel, pas på, du ikke dør, ikke? Nej, ikke gå, Hassel. Hassel, bliv liggende. Hassel. Hassel, bliv liggende, ikke? Og så dør du. Så kan du ikke være med mere.
Nej, det var far.
Jeg gør det også nu. Falke, prøv lige at trykke på tab her. Vi skal lige kigge, om du har taget nogle ting til far. Ja, den anden tager far lige.
Men den...
Her, kom her til far.
Men den kæmpe stor.
Ej, stop nu med at køre ind i far.
Undskyld.
Ikke? Så kom nu herover, så du kan få din skud. Her. Jeg smider den herover. Kom så, vi skal ind i zonen. Hvor er du, Hassi? Nej, vi skal lige have de sidste ting med her inde på husen.
Jeg kommer og henter dig. Jeg dør. Jeg hjælper dig, Hassan. Hjælper dig. Jeg går ikke.
Hvem skød dig, Hassan? Hvem skød dig?
Jeg hjælper Hassan.
Kørte du ham over igen? Hej, Anne.
Hvad er det? Jeg mister liv. Jeg mister liv. Den på ham, far.
Nu skal vi også til at løbe, ikke? Hassel, du skal til at tage noget medicin.
Hvem skal så på min?
Hassel, har du medicin, så du kan tage?
Nej.
Ja, så får du lige en af mig. Ja, over ved mig. Og så tryk på 0. Og du har taget den der op.
Nul her.
Ja, samle den op, ja. Det er fordi, der er din anden hakker lidt.
Okay. Hey, far, kom for mig. Hey.
Ja, men den virker ikke lige, Hassi. Jeg ved ikke lige, hvorfor. Prøv at vente, Hassis, den virker ikke lige. Nej, der kan kun være en på den der her, Falke. Hassis, den virker ikke. Prøv at trykke på den gule, Hassi. Ja, der er en bil heroppe. Vi skal se, om Hassi han kommer ind igen. Det gør han ikke. Hassi, den er gået i stykker, din... Ja.
Ikke den der.
Så. Kør over broen. Altså, det kan være, du vil hente noget mere basilsalat sammen med mor. Virker den igen nu?
Ja. Nu kører jeg lige.
Nu skal vi se, om der er noget her, vi skal have. Og det hele er vist taget her.
Alle dem er nogle af ånden, alle dem der er nogle i ånden. Og jeg tager ikke for, jeg kører over mig. Så nu kan det falde, jeg tager ikke en tosser med. Bare du skal bare køre over mig.
Der er heller ikke ondt.
Og bagved. Jeg tager tasken. Man bare vente. Jeg kan zoome. Jeg kan zoome med min kæmpe skyder. Jeg kan zoome
Ja.
på min kæmpe skyder. Så er det bare. Jeg kan hurtigt. Bare lige ud.
Ja.
Bare han sender den videre.
Okay.
Så er lige den på væk. Jeg kører bare ind i. Og han sendte mig en.
Okay.
Det der, ja, så skal han sende mig ind i bilen fra. Og det er det fra. Jeg håber virkelig godt. Kommer vi? Der. Der. Nu herovre. Hvor er vi? Ej. Vent. Han er i en anden bil. Den anden bil, der hånder dig. Min krosser kan ikke flytte. Nu kommer vi.
Så Falke, nu skal vi til at koncentrere os, ikke? Fordi nu kan der godt være fjender alle mulige steder.
Så okay,
Du skal tage noget medicin, Falke, ikke? Jamen, så tag noget ind fra husen af.
Det her. Med deroppe. Med deroppe. Hvordan? Den. Så lige den her fra. Der var der. Og en medicin fra. Noget anden medicin. Jo, der var der en båd medicin. Nej, der var det stående der.
Så kører vi. Hvor er han? Jamen, jeg har lidt, men ellers så kan du bare lige gå ind i de andre huse. Hvad så?
Jeg kommer måske. En krosser. Krosser. Der.
Godt, det kan komme lige hen og samle mig op. Kom hen og samle mig op. Fordi jeg siger det.
Okay.
Så er du fast. Kom herude på vejen. Nå nej, man kan ikke være to på den der, det havde jeg lige glemt. Det er lige meget.
En bil holder.
Ja, men det kan vi godt, men jeg kan ikke sidde på den der, fordi det er, man kan kun sidde en på den der dirtbike. Det hedder en dirtbike, den der, det er sådan en crosser. Sådan, det er kun, en crosser, hvor man kun kan sidde en på. Det ved jeg ikke. Jeg kan lige rende over og hente bilen. Der er en bil her, vi kan tage. Der er nogen, der skyder efter far. Ja, men der er nogen, der skyder efter far. Vi skal lige finde ud af, hvor de er henne. Prøv at passe på, for bare prøv lige at hoppe af crosseren, fordi det kan være, de kan se dig. Jeg har set dem nu. De er herude ved høstakken. Og der er mange høstakker. Jeg har set dem. Hvordan er det der ikke et hit? Ikke en. Kom herover, ven. Jamen, vi skal til at skyde dem, men ikke? Vi kan godt tage bilen. Så kom ind i bilen. Kom ind i bilen. Ja, kom ind i bilen. Nå, okay, så kør. Vi skal over til gul. Fik en. Oh. Pas på, ven, der er en her omkring. Det må godt, det her. Bare han har ikke så meget liv.
Hvor meget liv har du tilbage?
Der har bag crosseren, men så hjælp bare med at skyde dem. Nej, fedt. Fik dem. Og du kørte den ene over. What up, Hammy boy? Hvad så er der?
Så er det en... Hvor fanden kører? Så er der en.
Så er der en derovre. Okay.
Okay. Men jeg siger...
Der er kun 13 tilbage.
Er du trænet?
Ja, eller det vil sige, der er 10 tilbage faktisk.
Er det... Var det både hvad du med til?
Ja.
Men det er okay, for det... Den passer på os. Ja. Os.
Ja. Du skal til at... Falke, du
Og vi
skal til
er
at...
hurtigere end en.
Ja, men Falke, du skal til at hoppe af den crosser, ikke? Fordi til at skyde dem lige om lidt. Der er kun 10 tilbage. Ikke? Fordi de kan nemt høre dig, når du kører rundt på crosseren. Så ved de, hvor du er.
Og der er nu, der går i stå.
Det var godt. Så kom ind til os.
Okay. Ja.
Husk at tage noget medicin. Prøv at trykke på 0 eller 8 eller 9.
Det virker ikke.
Om det kan være, du ikke har noget. Ja, jeg kaster lige til dig. Og tag medicin der.
Nu gør du det hele fint. Sådan. Og nu har jeg mega
Der er kun 6 tilbage nu.
godt. Jeg kunne
Det var også vent at skyde efter nogen. Jeg kan ikke se dem.
Hello. Jeg kan ikke fra...
Jeg kan heller ikke se dem med mit sigtevågen. Men lige pludselig så kommer de igen. Ikke?
Jeg kan se, der er en kører i en bil.
Er det det?
Ja.
Du må gerne skyde efter dem, hvis du kan ramme. Så, 5 tilbage.
Okay.
Skyd bilen.
Hey, far. Jeg skal nu havne på havne, så er det bedre sigt. Jeg prøver det.
Så Falke. Du er blevet skudt. Om bag træet. Ja. Pas på, hvad står der, Falke? Falke. Yeah! Vi vandt!
Yes. Men,
Godt klaret.
men, I tog den er ven også.
Ja, vi vandt med en anden.
Men den røde er her.
Så skal vi bare trykke på den gule. Nej, du er ude. Godt. Hvor mange fik du, Falke?
Han fik 2.
Du fik 1, Falke. Nice. Han er sgu nice nok, Hemi. Det er sgu nice nok. Falke, han er del af Nemo hård. Jeg siger det også til CS. Jeg glæder mig nemlig til CS2, det kommer ud. Damn, vi skal game meget. Det kan jeg godt love dig. Altså, det er klart, der er også meget trolling, fordi han synes også, nogle gange er så sjovt at bare rende rundt og kaste granater og stå oven i ildgranaten. Men altså, det er bare, det der aim og sådan noget, det er der bare. Det er virkelig imponerende.
Hvem snakker du
Det
til?
er Markus Det er Markus Hemmingsen, hedder han. Han hedder Markus. Så kom herind og kigge i kameraet og så sige hej. Der, kig ind i kameraet. Det han skriver der, kan du godt se. Man kan ikke se ham. Skal du også lige kigge? Så sig lige hej.
Hej!
Skal jeg lige se, om han skriver. Skal jeg lige se læse, hvad han skriver.
Hej!
Se om han, det kan være, han ikke lige er her. Han skriver halløj. Halløj, skriver han, og siger han. Er I gode til spillet, spørger han om.
Ja.
Nå, det var godt.
Ja.
Det kører. Der kommer snart et nyt skydespil, vi skal have, ikke? Falke? Det er det der Counter-Strike, som du sidder og spiller. Der kommer en 2'er af det. Ikke?
Ja.
Fordi det er godt at bare. Det synes de, at det kunne være sjovt at lige komme med et bedre spil. Ja, det er godt, venner. Ej, det jeg glæder mig allermest til ved CS2 og Hemi, det er det eller andet med, at altså, det er sgu ikke fordi, der går cirka 10 sekunder, så er den første hack out. Men man må bare sådan forvente, at CS2, det trods alt ikke har nær så mange hackers right off the bat. Og det er sgu ikke fordi, at jeg er ikke en af dem, der sidder og cryer hacking hele tiden, du ved. Det ved du godt, de typer, de er der også i CSGO. Dem der bare, han hacker ham der, man, bare fordi man selv sidder og farter. Jamen altså, dem kender vi, de typer der, men altså, der er ikke nogen tvivl. Der er mange, der cheater i CSGO. Altså, det er bare sådan, det er. Det er jo så super easy at downloade, altså det er så nemt at få. Men det er klart, det er svært ligesom at have noget konkret evidence. Men der er jo virkelig mange efterhånden, der er blevet busted i det og sådan noget, så altså, det er bare virkelig infektet. Men nej, Hassel Fransk lige nu, han også spise. Ikke? Ser du? Den her mor? Kom ned lidt, hun er oppe med mor. Ja.
Jeg er ude.
Skal vi derude? Ud og hente det andet. Og maden. Rigtigt, ja, det skal jeg faktisk hente. Prøv lige at se her, du kommer til at bide lidt i den her. Men ellers så er der godt nok virkelig ikke en døjt game i tiden. Jeg synes godt nok, det er fart games. Det er helt vildt. Der er bare, altså det er sgu kun fordi, jeg er ved at være en boomer, og jeg er old og alt det der. Det er bare virkelig boring games. Det er games, hvor du bare gamer i 2 dage, og så døde den sgu. Altså, det gider jeg ikke. Hvad siger du? Hvad sagde du her? Du har prøvet at være henne? Du har været i Randers regnskov i dag, ikke? Ja, men vi kan ikke se Markus. Han kan kun se os.
Hvorfor kan vi ikke se ham?
Det er fordi, det er kun os, der har kamera på. Ja.
Kom bare ud.
Ja. Kig ind i kameraet, hvis du skal sige det. Prøv at sige det igen.
Markus. Ikke rigtigt.
Ej, det er tæt på. Markus.
Markus.
Ja.
Markus. Markus.
Nej, det er tæt på.
Ja. Markus. Nej. Det hedder Markus. Markus.
Det er godt med jer to.
Markus.
Har du hentet maden? Må jeg se? Vi går lige ud og kigger. Ej, Hemi, jeg skal lige ud og have noget mere pastasalat. Det er sgu sådan med. Nå, det der. Nej, det må du godt tage. Det er lidt andet. Evan.
Is no longer an issue. Does the BBC...
What is this conversation? What the f—
I just don't really care to like collaborate with any other leftist ever again at this point.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at, because they come on the show, they build a name for themselves, and then they build a bigger name for themselves, trashing us as if they don't know who we are, as if they haven't worked with us, they don't know what our...
Oh my God. My uncle and his girlfriend were killed, I think 3 or 4 years ago by...
I mean, I would only just add that, you know, we have spoken to people who have been sacked that used to be in content moderation, and we've spoken to people very recently who were involved in moderation, and they just say there's not enough people to police this stuff, particularly around hate speech in the company. Is that
what hate speech are you
address?
talking about? I mean, you use Twitter.
Right.
Do you see a rise in hate speech?
I mean,
but just a personal anecdote, like what do you? I don't.
Personally, for you, I would see I get more of that kind of content, yeah, personally. But I'm not going to talk to the rest of for the rest of Twitter.
You see more hate speech personally?
I would say I would see more hateful content in that.
Content you don't like or hateful? What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying.
Well, I'm just curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content, and I'm asking for specific examples.
How do you not know what hateful content is? Hateful content across most social media platforms these days is stuff that is racist. It's basically something that discriminates against usually protected classes. So racist, stuff that contains slurs, stuff that's attacking women, blatantly misogynistic, slightly misogynist. I don't know what the f this guy on the right is talking about. I don't know why you would confront Elon on this and not have a clear definition of what hateful content is.
And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't. Honestly, I don't.
You can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you said
actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at
hang on a second.
my
You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and
well, then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
then I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's a false.
No, what I claimed...
You just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not... I mean, right, and
literally
you can look at something
one.
like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK. They will say that. So
look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know there's hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time. COVID misinformation. You changed the COVID misinformation.
Has BBC changed its COVID misinformation?
The BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
I'm literally asking you about, you changed the labels, the COVID misinformation labels. There used to be a policy, and then disappeared. Why do that?
Okay, COVID is no longer an issue. Does the BBC...
What is this conversation? What the fuck?
Hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and side effects of vaccinations and not reporting on that at all? And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy? Are you aware of that?
This is not an interview about the BBC.
Oh, you thought it wasn't?
I see now why you've done Twitter Spaces. I am not a representative of the BBC's editorial policy. I want to make that clear. Let's talk about something else. You want to talk about the BBC?
You too.
All right, let's talk about something else.
You weren't expecting that.
Let's talk about something else.
Jesus Christ. Appears the latest mass shooter was, like the prior trans wannabe one, familiar with Vosh. Connor Sturgeon, same first name as Betts, was a BLM/Activa/Voshite.
Der er sirup. Der er sirup, og der kommer is, og der kommer sirup, is, og
Is har ikke været der på.
viser vi ikke rigtigt.
Er du en stille tøj? Det bliver med sirup.
Det er lækkert.
Når du tager med henter, så vil jeg gerne have panden tage med sirup og med stille.
Vil du gerne det?
Ja, når du tager med henter.
Ja, okay.
Så vil vi lave det.
Så laver vi det, lover jeg. Gør det på mandag?
Ja, og så er der mor blive hjemme.
Det var hun da ked af det, vel? Og mor, hun er faldet i søvn.
Det var simpelthen... Altså, jeg tror, jeg slapper af. Nej, jeg tror, jeg slapper af.
Ja, vent lidt. Jeg kigger lige, om mor, hun er faldet i søvn.
Jeg faldt i søvn. Far, hvordan tager mad til dig?
Ja.
Nej, med den der en.
Hvilken?
Nej, med den der derovre.
Og den der, nej, det kan vi ikke lege med lige nu.
Jo.
Nej, fordi så bliver de bare væk alle mine værktøj.
Nej, det kan jeg. Jeg tager ikke med. Jeg tager ikke med, far. Jeg tager ikke med. Jeg tager ikke med. Jeg har dem.
Hvad er det på? Vent lige lidt. Ikke tryk på noget.
Er det mor? Hej, mor. Mor.
Hun kommer nu. Ja, hun kommer nu. Kommer nu.
Mor. Mor. Mor spiser den. Far med den her den. Der er en. Far med den her den der.
Hvilken?
Et varetøj. Den her det.
Warning, Steve is a trained professional. Do not attempt anything you see on this page.
Alright guys, before we get in this video, I just want to say that I'm going to be uploading every single Thursday, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for everything. I fucking
Shorty got that body out of your eye.
In your profit too, huh? Steve, I was down 520. Oh, shit. Where'd you end up?
I made like 15K.
15?
Yeah, I'll take that. What a trip. So I just made 15 grand. Dana just made like 50. He was down 520 at one point. We're winners. That's it. All right, check this.
Please. Boom! Awesome! Great win, guys. Great win. It's 120,000. It doesn't have to be this hard.
Boss, you're like 16? 22.
22, awesome. That's an awesome freaking win. Dude, is this the shoe? It's mine! You're awesome, Mine. This is awesome. Yeah, let's go! Let's go, Mine! Give me that 10. I will tackle you back there. Fucking 300, 520. In your profit too, huh? Steve, I was down 520. Oh, shit.
Let's see. Have a look at him. Ja.
Jeg har blandt det med julemanden.
Julemanden? Hvad er det med den, mand?
Der var
Jeg tryk på den der.
Type who here retweeted Vosh on January 6th calling poorly aged an earlier tweet by Charlie. Wait, really? Hold on. How will the Destiny Reddit spin this one? Well, I don't know if like familiar with Vosh. I don't know if this means anything. Like you realize if somebody's familiar with Vosh, they were probably familiar with me too, right? Like.
Benjamin GL asks Anna a question. Anna, would you be willing to have a live stream with Vosh since you both politely disagree about a person with uterus language? Would love to see more of you two in general.
Is my mic on now? Okay. Polite means not calling the person you disagree with the R word, which is what I was called, even though I've been incredibly kind to him. I've been open-minded toward him, even though there are people trashing him and accusing him of terrible things online all day, every day.
Vosh said I guzzled.
But he didn't extend that same open-mindedness and kindness toward me, so the answer is no.
Okay, that's a good question, good answer. There you go. I guess he was cooked. People are getting cooked on the internet, for what I hear. Okay. Okay. Hey, people on the left, you're supposed to be okay with disagreement. You're not supposed to be fascist who go around, you must have the correct opinion, otherwise you will be destroyed. Whatever is what I say to that. Okay. By the way, your opinion.
Bro, have you guys noticed that everybody is like eating themselves alive right now? Holy shit. All the political sides right now are like in turmoil. The progressive far left movement is like collapsing in on itself between like the Young Turks falling out with everybody. A lot of the trans stuff has been like collapsing in on itself. You've obviously got the Democratic establishment that's kind of like fighting with the far left. And then on the right, you had like the whole Crowder Shapiro thing. You've got like Ali Alexander, Fuentes, and Milo feuding with each other. You've got, I feel like Matt Walsh is taking random shots at people. Holy shit, I feel like everybody's like fucking, I feel like everybody's, oh yeah, you've got all the DeSantis stuff going on right now with Trump. Oh my God. Didn't you say like 2 years ago the left would collapse and stuff? Yeah, but it just feels like everybody's going bonkers right now. What happened to Destiny's debate with Ali Alexander? He said he was too famous for me and didn't want to do it. And now he's busy fighting pedo allegations from Milo. Yeah, I have no idea. Oh, okay.
On why he's a hypocrite. Same thing happened when they tried to scam their fans with overpriced computers. He only changed when they exposed him. Then suddenly criticism.
Oh yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene fighting with Laura Loomer. Yeah.
Honest, I just don't really care to like collaborate with any other leftist ever again at this point.
Yeah, no,
that's where I'm at, because they come on the show, they build a name for themselves, and then they build a bigger name for themselves, trashing us as if they don't know who we are. As if they haven't worked with us, they don't know what our...
Oh my God. Oh, it's like 3 years ago. It's like 3 years ago in the Destiny arc. They're all getting there.
Actual political values are. So I don't, Jake, I never want to talk about them again. I never want to address them again. It's a waste of time. There's important stuff going on in the country. Our personal drama with a bunch of leftists on Twitter doesn't matter.
All right.
Holy true. There was a rapist that got, I think they got convicted, or they were on the way to the courthouse, and there was a dad that like waited outside or waited in the courthouse, and or was it a mom? And he walked up and like shot the dude in the head to kill him because the guy like his kid or something, I think. Not good. You definitely shouldn't do it. But like, I can empathize. Why? I can empathize. Why? Was it this guy? Was an American man known for publicly killing Jeff Doucet, who kidnapped, raped, and molested Plauché's prepubescent son. He got a 7-year suspended sentence with 5 years probation and 300 hours of community service to receive no prison time. I kind of talked about this yesterday. So here's like a weird thing that happens when you're online, okay? I can speak from a lot of experience now. People that do shitty things to you, that like disappear from your life, you kind of like, you forget about them. And if you engage with somebody in an incredibly negative way, it seems like you can do more long-term damage to yourself than any of those people, right? Like, I can't remember how many people over the past, 12 or 13 years have said, like, you're going to fall off, you're going to stop streaming, you're not going to be here, blah, 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 blah. Like, so many people that have come and gone and come and gone and come and gone and come and gone, right? And they didn't make it for whatever reason. But as you go on, like, it's not like I'm not sitting here actively remembering, like, I don't have, like, a kill list like Arya Stark, right? Where I'm thinking, like, oh, like, that guy shit talked me, and I wish I would have got him back, and I wish I could have got this dude back, and I wish I could have got, like, because you forget about it as you go on, you know? But if you do something like crazy or like beyond the pale, or you go like really, 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 really hard on somebody, I think you run the risk of permanently f***ing yourself up, and then it's like, now you do remember, but it's because of the decision that you made rather than anything they did, you know? But there has to be one person that you still think about, right? No, not at all. And some people super trigger the fuck out of me. Now, of course, I haven't had anybody like my kid. But it's still, I mean, I would imagine, like, you deal with it and you move on. Like, nothing undoes any of the damage that was done before. It's not like getting vengeance on the person. Like, thankfully, I'm finally, you know. That's different. If someone killed your kid, you'll probably never move on because your son is gone forever. People who shit talk to you mean nothing because you're successful. You lost nothing. So why'd you care? I'm just saying that I don't think the vengeance shit makes people feel any better ever. I guess, not to shit talk anybody. I feel bad doing it. I love everybody, and I love my family. My uncle and his girlfriend were killed, I think 3 or 4 years ago, by some woman driving, like, actually off the perk. Wait, fuck. This person was driving through an intersection and she killed, I think my uncle and his girlfriend died instantly. And my aunt, obviously, is super upset about this. And she has become like a shell of her former self, obsessing over this. And she flew to Omaha for the trial. She wanted to watch the person get convicted and blah, blah, blah. And I think the lady did get, I think she got a really big conviction, I think. What was her name? Oh, this one, because she had like prior DUIs and everything too.
If you watch Alana on BBC.
Oh, she tested positive for PCP. Convicted on 2 counts of manslaughter. Sentenced her to 15 to 20 years on each count to be conserved consecutively with 733 days for time. So what is that, 30 to 40 years? So she got a pretty big sentence for this, pretty big conviction. But my aunt doesn't feel any better. Like, she's still fucking miserable. She's still a shell of her former self. She still hates every day. Like, her little brother is killed in a car accident, right? She doesn't feel any better for it at all. It didn't help at all. Now, that's not to say maybe killing somebody would make you feel better. I don't know, maybe. But, like, I don't know. And maybe other people have different personal experiences. But, like, anecdotally, I've heard it a ton in movies and stories and nonfiction. People talk about it, that, like, revenge doesn't make you feel any better, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't seem like it helped her at all. So, I don't know. This is my mom's brother. My mom and mom's sister's brother, obviously. I think there are studies that say the death penalty doesn't improve victims' family. Yeah, maybe. So was it your cousin, not your uncle? No, it was my uncle. Do you not feel that USA is insanely soft on DUIs? Yeah, I don't know. I hear stories of people with like 5+ DUIs and shit. It seems pretty wild to me. Louis Rossman had the same feeling after beating up his bully.
Any of that. He did the same thing that he did in 8th grade and 7th grade, and he grabbed my shirt as hard as he could to go to push me up against a wall. And there was this little section where the wall had the brick and had this stone in between it, and it was sharper than all the other sections because the school was just fucked up. Like, all the tiles were yellow and orange. It was just messed. And he went to hit me. And something changed. This was the first time, like really the first time in my life that I figured out that I had a thigh muscle. Like, you know when you do this, I mean, if you work out and you work out your legs, like this muscle like just goes, and sticks out. That was the first time I realized that was actually there and actually felt it. Because he went to do this, and usually by now I'd be boom, up against the wall. And this time it was like, I didn't move. And I looked at him, he's like, oh. And he hit a little harder and nothing happens. And I was still a very, very slow person. I'm still not coordinated, I'm not athletic, but I go to grab his hand and he stops it, and then I just push right through while he's blocking me and get to him. And now he's got this look in his eye like, oh crap. And I'm thinking to myself, you have gained maybe 15 pounds since 8th grade. Oh boy, I had this. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I wasn't going to just push you out of the way or temporarily disable you so I can walk back to class. No, the hallway, the door, the stairwell to the basement was right in front of the gym. So I carried him a good 8 or 9 yards over, and I dragged this man by the arm and the shoulder. I had him by the armpit like this. I just dragged him, and as soon as I got to the end of that stairwell, I pushed the door open. And I tossed him right down the stairs, and his ankle was clearly broken. It was twisted way, way out of where it's supposed to be, and there was blood. I don't know if it was around the mouth, nose, ear. I don't know. It was like somewhere around here at the bottom of the stairs. And he was moving like a little bit, but clearly very fucked up. And I felt like for 2 to 3 second 9-yard trip where he was trying as best as he can to get away from me, and nothing is working, and I am just dragging this person that used to be this brick that I hit as hard as I could, and he didn't move like that. And it felt like I wasn't even the same person anymore. It felt like I was dragging a birthday balloon down the hallway at this point. That was one of the top moments of my life. From age 0 to 17, that had been one of the most rewarding 3 seconds. And let me explain what happens in these moments. You may think that's a great feeling, that's a great end to the story. I wish I could feel that way against the guy who's fucking with me. No, it's not, because it's like a pendulum. Let me explain how that works. So you go all the way, you get that high on revenge, you get that high on getting back at that person against not being vulnerable anymore. It swings all the way back over here to feelings of misery and self-hatred and being disgusted at yourself and feeling manipulated and feeling like somebody else is allowed to change how you feel, and you feel cheap and you feel shitty and you feel like you just want to dig a hole and die. And there's a reason for that. It's because you let somebody else change your emotional state. So that revenge came out of the anger. The anger came out of him, which means he changed how I felt. He affected my actions, which means that even though he's lying there with a broken ankle and his face is bleeding and fucked up and he didn't screw me up and he didn't hit me up against the wall this time, even though I won, I felt like complete shit. I felt worse than I had felt in my entire life because I let somebody else affect my emotional state. And whether you're dealing with a customer who gets you irate to the point where you lose control, whether you're dealing with a girlfriend who gets to the point where you're screaming and acting in a way that you wouldn't.
I kind of followed Rossman up until he brought up the customer. Customers deserve to have their ankles broken. You know, he almost had me, but sorry, I think I lost him at that point. Customers.
I admit, I speed, okay?
Halv 6 om aftenen i 30 år er selvfølgelig uden børn.
Og det er ikke mere.
Nej, men der skulle de seneste... Sådan...
Hvem skulle det?
Børnene. Fordi så skulle det gå til at være en voksen.
Det gik det bare godt. Jeg forstår ikke det der, men hvorfor man ikke... Det der limer eller bare... Hvad jeg sige? Du er klar til, at vi går op med den?
Sometimes I don't do things appropriately when it comes to traffic. I was thinking, how fucked is it?
Skal mor gøre det? Jeg skal gå ind og få tøj på nu. Kom mor op. Okay. Hvad siger du? Kommer du? Kom til mor. Er det far eller mor, der skal gå op med dig? Nå, men så skynd dig, ven. Jeg kan selv så går far op. Ikke? Kom. Jo. Det er sådan. Ja, for mig. Jeg lige hjælpe dig med at få trøjen af. Nå, det gør jeg lige, ven. Så kan mor lige hjælpe med at få på det på. Hygge. Ja, må du se dig. Må du se dig, ven. Må du se dig. Ikke så hårdt, ven. Sådan der.
Hvad er det her? Hvad er det her? Hvad er det her?
Det er til ørerne. Det er ørepropper. Ørepropper, ja. Fedt. Sådan. Op armene. Op armene. Armene. Så går det som overvisning.
that when you go and you look at my record of everything, it's all clean. And as a result of, I just hire one of those, I think I use Ticket Clinic or Ticket Titan, and just every time they do, they'll hire an attorney, they'll go there, and then like you have nothing on your record as a result of it. And I was thinking like poor people kind of can't do that, you know, like either they have to just, and it seems actually
that's true.
Is that true?
It is. Yeah, it's quite.
Wait. I'm thinking, can poor people not do it? Because it usually is cheaper than the cost of the ticket to hire these guys, I think.
No.
If they get it expunged.
It depends on
right?
what you're talking. If you've got like a minor traffic infraction, like 50 miles per hour over the speed limit or less, it's going to cost you more for the lawyer than for the traffic ticket, right? You're not hiring a lawyer to fight like a $200 speeding ticket. But if you're getting like DUIs and shit, or if you've got like willful reckless driving or shit like that, then yeah, it's probably
what? You just said something incorrect. I mean, I could be retarded, at least the way I've done it so far. But every time I get a ticket for anything that's traffic related, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean like, oh, this is a $400 ticket. It's like you got a $50 ticket for going 10 miles over. You know, just random shit. I'll fight all of them because my understanding is that those add points to your license and does rate your insurance bill over the cost. So it'll
add points to your record. In Nebraska, you get 12 points over a year, I think. Like if you have got to be speeding quite a bit for your license to be threatened. Does it actually raise your insurance rates?
Yeah, it does. Like if you're a bad driver, bad driver. But I've every time I get any ticket, regardless, I'll dispute all of them, just because I don't want essentially anything on your record. And if you dispute it, I mean, I don't know how they beat it every time, because sometimes it's so fucking obvious that I was doing something wrong, but I guess the cops just don't fucking show up to court, and that's it. That's all it takes. Like the cop doesn't show up to court. It can triple your premiums, even the first speeding ticket. There's no shot that is true. I got a lot of maybe if it's like a really reckless driving thing that
maybe you're f***ing it up. The only thing that the worst insurance that I ever had was after my really bad Iowa speeding ticket. You had to get something called, am I making this up, SR22? Oh yeah, you have to get SR22 insurance, which I think is like, this is like you fucked up real bad and now you need like the big boy insurance to punish you or some shit. I don't even know. It's some absolute cuck shit. This was expensive. I think I had to carry this for a year. Fuck this.
What did you do to need that? Did you get a DUI?
No, I was going 130 and a 55. Listen, Chris lived in a little shitty town called Malvern, Iowa, okay? I had my GTI. Those roads are straight and boring as fuck, okay? And I just tore along those roads, okay? And I made good time, all right? We had shit to do. That was the ticket where I didn't know, because the guy, when I got pulled over, I was like, I'm definitely going to jail, because it's just unbelievable. I can't believe. And he even acted like, oh, I clocked you going. I think he said he put it down. He was like, I think you were going like 134, but I'm going to put, or like 124. I'm going to make it 130 or 120. I was like, okay, thanks, I guess. I don't know if it matters much at that point. And then he wrote me, it was like a $600 or $500 speeding ticket. And I was like, okay, kind of sucks, but not that bad. I thought my life was over. I just got caught going so fast. But what I didn't know is after I paid the ticket, I send the money. It's like, okay, here, take my money, Iowa. I didn't know that was, when you paid that ticket and you pled guilty to that, it resulted in an automatic 1 or 2 year revocation of your driver's license. But I didn't find that out until after I was driving to Florida, and then I got pulled over in Missouri, and the guy was like, hey, your license is revoked. And I was like, oh shit. Rip.
Yeah, I did get arrested one time when I was younger. And I was driving on a suspended license with no insurance, no inspection. I thought I was such a fucking hot shit too, because I was driving, and this is what every fucking retard does, and it never works. But I was driving, and you see a cop going the other way, and you're like, ah, shit. And then you see the cop do a U-turn, and you're like, I'm fucked. So what is your only instinct? I fucking pulled in to a bank and got out like, oh, just me going on my business. Going to the bank, and the cop fucking pulls off like, and I'm like, oh, me? You want something from me? And then, of course, he fucking, he put me in the cruiser, and away we went, and that was it. I thought it would work too.
Wait, That was it? Oh, wait, did he write your ticket, or?
No, he took me to jail. I had to get bailed out.
Oh, jeez. Wait, what were you actually doing? Were you just speeding?
No, I was driving on a suspended license.
Oh,
I was
that
a street racer.
Right.
That's
no,
how
wait,
I got.
How did he pull you over?
Well, he didn't pull me over. I pulled myself over, and I tried to be like, you know, I tried to.
Why did he get it? You must have been doing something illegal. He doesn't mind because he didn't have ESP, and he was like, this guy's a suspended license.
I was in a 1985 Nissan 300ZX that had flames on the side of it, and I'm sure and I also had hacked off my muffler, so my thing sounded like a fucking lawnmower because I was a retard. And I had one of those giant coffee can exhausts back then and everything else. And it was, I just listened at the time.
What did he pull you over for? Why did he stop the car?
Because my car at the time screamed, please, there's a fucking retard in here that's driving with a suspended license.
He can't pull you over for having flames on your car. That's not a good reason to pull somebody over.
It doesn't matter. They're just like, hey, retard, you know? Like, that was enough. I don't know. My car wasn't inspected, but it doesn't matter.
What did he write you the ticket for?
Oh, fuck. I don't know if I got a ticket. I'm sure he pulled me over for something. Like, sir, your fucking tail light is out or something.
Wait,
I don't know.
Said he didn't pull you over. You said you went into a bank.
You're trying to fucking get me all mixed up here. Listen, I was driving, okay, and then I look and you see a cop going past you the other way, and you're like, oh shit, and you look in your rearview mirror, and then you see him do a U-turn. So immediately, before the lights are on, before anything, I pull into a fucking bank, and I quickly park. I did the world's fastest park job of all fucking time, okay? Get out, shut my door, walking up like, oh, was there a cop there? I didn't even know. And then, of course, the cop pulls into the fucking parking lot, and he like fucking comes right up on me. And I'm like, oh, me?
Yeah, and then what did he say? Did he say, you, sir, show me your suspended license?
Yeah, I don't know. It was literally like 20 plus years ago, but it was something. I mean, I don't know. I was such a pussy. I was like, you got me. I don't know. I was probably like, God damn it. I was like a little rambunctious fucking rat and not a criminal at all at the point. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I have a fucking picture of my booking shot. It's, I think I'll show it to you next time I see you. It's pretty funny. Yeah, that was just me being a little bit of a different Dan, if you will. Different time.
Jesus.
The cop was not also going to the bank. Like, I don't know all the fucking details. It was 20 years ago, but like, he knew. I don't know. Maybe he must have like, my shit was all fucked up. I had a smashed front right end from when I hit a guardrail when it was icy out. I don't know, my shit was just fucked, bro. I was like, yeah.
All right, boys, we got a Bella Danger this week on the podcast. I know a lot of you boys are familiar with her for sure. Before we get into the podcast, this episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. So if you guys are like me and you guys love to fire on sports, Prize Picks is by far the best app to fire on. Instead of choosing teams, you're choosing individual players. So each player has a set projection, and you can either choose more or less than that set projection. So if you guys are really knowledgeable about sports and if you guys know which players are going to perform, Prize Picks is a no-brainer. It is the app for you. It's available in 70% of the United States. It's available in Cali, Texas, Florida. Also, boys, we guys got you on a 100% deposit code. Use code NELK. So that's for first-time users. If you put in $100, bang, they're matching that $100 with code NELK. Download the app, use code NELK. Let's get into the pod. We're at 11 Miami, boys. Everyone in Miami knows this is the spot. It's one of the craziest spots in Miami. It's got the hottest girls. It's like a club and a strip club. They've also been carrying Happy Dad since like pretty much the start. So shout out to 11 for always supporting us and carrying Happy Dad. What, we were in here 2 nights ago?
I fell right over there 2 nights ago.
We were standing right there. Took 2 absolute 4s home and that's it, right?
Really bad night.
How are you guys?
So I'm here a lot.
It's like part of my identity.
Usually it's 6 a.m., not 6 p.m., right?
Yeah, oh my god, never 6 p.m. Not even 12 a.m. is too early, I feel.
If you guys are watching this, the last 3 weeks of pods have been filmed in like, I guess 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
This light is so bright right now on my face.
Yeah, just
does it look bright?
You look great, dude.
I know, we're on the stage right now. I want Brad to perform.
You want me to what?
I don't know.
What do you want me to do?
Dance, bro.
Honestly, it's different during like.
We should talk about. She seems like she parties a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking
I want
about?
to ask about some party stories.
Let's do it. I'm sure there's a lot. We could talk about ours too.
Yeah, you want a mint? I got a mint for you just because.
I always wake up with like 40 of
Actually,
those
have
in
an
my
extra one or
pocket.
no?
Yeah, here.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, jump in.
A Bella Danger on the podcast. Thank you for coming.
I know.
We
I don't know
appreciate it.
why.
Why not?
You don't know why you're here?
Well, because I don't feel like I'm like at that level of like the guests that you guys have. I was like, oh my God, what do they want me to be? And it was funny because it was like 3 different people. Like it was like my agent and then someone else. And they're like, you need to do this podcast. And I'm like, I've seen it. Like I should not be on that podcast.
No, we want you on.
Why not? You're actually probably my favorite guest we've ever had.
What?
Yeah, top 3.
Yeah,
I think
He
you, Elon
said you.
Musk,
Elon Musk, OJ Simpson,
and then you.
No, he put you over Elon.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been a really cool guest though.
What's that?
That must have been a really cool guest. To
Well, yeah,
have.
it was huge. It was huge for us. So, are you a huge Miami Heat fan?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was born and raised in Miami. So I saw when we won our first NBA championship, I was like in 4th grade. And then I just like grew, like, even when the Heat are doing awful, like this season, I still go to every game. Like I love the Heat. Like I'm very proud.
I
be
was
from
literally at a
Miami.
game and I had to, like, I looked over my shoulder and like 10 rows back. I was like, oh shit, that's a Bella Danger.
10 rows
10
back.
rows behind you?
Yeah.
That sounds like
I'm not
cap.
like trying to flex that. I'm just trying to give you an idea.
You're 100% flexing right now. Wow.
5 good seats, bro.
You're flexing
So
on
do
her.
I though. So I'm like, how was 10 rows behind you? I must have.
That sounds like a fake story. If
I
he
don't
didn't,
know
that never
because I
happened.
literally said like right behind.
No,
you
I'm
first.
kidding. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna. Yeah, I didn't even want to sound just like that. But every season rolls around and I like pick exactly which games I want to go to, and I'm like either courtside or right behind. Like I
No,
love.
but I will say Heat games, out of all NBA games, Heat games are the best games. There's just so much energy.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm biased, but I've definitely been to a lot of good like Lakers.
Lakers
games.
is dope.
Yeah,
It's such a
and
different
something about
vibe.
being at the Staples Center. I really enjoy that, like the Staples Center. Well, I don't know what it's called. Something
Crypto
else now.
Arena now.
Yeah, Crypto Arena, but it's very iconic. And
He sat courtside with Hasbulla last week. Did you see that?
did you really? How was that?
I've been right there with you, bro. I've been right there with you, bro. Ready to risk it all. At any given time, anybody had a problem with you, I'm ready to end it all.
Who you calling a bitch though? I'm calling you a bitch.
You don't know
what?
You don't know her.
Get up.
You don't know what none of these is about, nigga.
I paid for the funeral as soon as it happened just because.
You and your mama too. You're talking crazy. Your mama, nigga. You a
Hey, no.
Disrespect the game, nigga. I really came from this, and we don't with you, nigga. You's a sucker, nigga. You's a straight sucker. You's a disgrace.
For years, No Jumper was known for being a place where you could find iconic hip-hop interviews and underground sensations on the verge of turning into stars. And the channel was a respected media outlet in hip-hop. But over the years, as it experienced more viral moments, its focus began to shift little by little. A roster of personalities started to grow, and this cast began to produce viral moments, along with drama and controversy. Then, in 2022, the channel turned into a full-on reality TV show, with fights, people getting spit on, drinks being thrown, and personal lives being exposed. In 2023, the chaos hit a peak, and things got so crazy that everybody tuned in to watch things fall apart and burn. So in this video, we'll cover the rise and fall of No Jumper. No Jumper, as it's known today, first started around 2015. The creator, Adam22, was the owner of a BMX shop with a love for hip-hop and a couple friends who were underground rappers. He had a YouTube channel that he initially used for BMX content and interviews of BMX riders, but he decided to start interviewing some of his rapper friends, and the interviews did so well that he started reaching out to more rappers and doing more interviews. The channel started around the beginning of the mainstream SoundCloud movement, and Adam was tapped into everything going on and bringing a lot of these types of rappers onto the podcast. Adam brought his brother-in-law Josh on as a co-owner, and he handled a lot of business behind the scenes alongside him. No Jumper began to grow quickly and was basically establishing itself as the home of SoundCloud rap. It was during these years that the XXXTentacion interview happened, months before he blew up, and the interview would go on to become one of the most iconic ever. Through the late 10s, the channel grew more and more, continuing to focus on documenting the careers of SoundCloud rappers, but slowly attracting bigger and more established artists on to do interviews. The SoundCloud wave was starting to die out, but No Jumper was already an established platform and interviewing different types of rappers, entertainers, and more. It was also in the late 10s that the channel began experiencing its first super viral moments. The biggest initial ones were Boonk passing out and a man running on the show pointing a grip directly in Adam's face. In 2019, No Jumper took a step towards the future direction of the channel when Adam decided to introduce a live stream show. He had a friend called Housephone who had been appearing on the channel since the beginning and becoming one of the most popular faces with fans. And in 2019, Adam decided to do a live stream podcast called The No Jumper Show with Housephone and another media personality called Camgirl. 2019 was also the year another very important figure would join the channel. 80 was a rapper who was popping around the mid-10s, but in 2019 he ended up meeting Adam and doing an interview with him. And Adam decided to bring him onto the channel to do the No Jumper news as well as host interviews. And going into the future, he would be one of the most important people on the channel. 2019 was the beginning, but 2020 officially started the show era of No Jumper. In this year, 2 new shows were created on the channel. Mad Lately with Gina Views, Rosecrans Vic, and Gabe, and at the end of the day, with AD and Yassi. Mad Lately would end up fizzling out and being replaced by the Monday show later on, but at the end of the day, continued on for another 3 years. The shows grew and became a big part of No Jumper, growing individual fan bases of their own, separate from the main content of the channel, and as time went on, they began to attract new personalities onto the channel. Early into At the End of the Day, 80's homie T-Rell made his first appearance. He was a natural on camera, super entertaining, and the people liked him, so he ended up becoming a regular part of the show. Then Adam started including him in things like interviews and the No Jumper news, and he became a core member of the channel. The same thing happened on Mad Lately with the social media influencer called Duno's World. And as time went on, more and more faces joined the No Jumper roster. Despite the rise of live shows, interviews were still the bread and butter of No Jumper, and Adam continued getting big names onto the channel. In 2021, No Jumper added another show when Housephone got some of his friends together to do a podcast they called Disconnected. 2021 was also the year Sharp joined No Jumper. Sharp was a real life pimp, but in 2021, he did an interview with No Jumper, and Adam ended up bringing him onto the crew. Sharp was entertaining from the beginning because he started every interview calm and respectfully, but at the smallest hint of disrespect, he would go off and spaz on anyone. He also made it a point to bring fake pimps onto the show to press and humiliate. As soon as he started doing interviews on No Jumper, they started going viral, and he quickly became one of the biggest personalities on the channel. Between all the shows and personalities, No Jumper saw more viral moments than ever before, but this was nothing compared to what was on the way. In 2022, Adam brought 2 more personalities onto the channel when he introduced Flacco and Almighty Suspect. Flacco was a YouTuber from North Dakota, and he was basically a great value academics. He had a channel where he covered hip-hop news, and just like academics, he was funny, but also annoying a lot of the time. Early into his career, Flacco quickly became one of the most controversial figures at No Jumper after an interview with another YouTube media figure called 16 Shot 'Em, where Flacco repeatedly disrespected him until he crossed the line and this happened.
He was cloud chasing off Man, Kevo. Shut up. I just said let the man talk.
What'd you say, Kevo?
Bro, suck my bro. That's a,
hey, stop playing before I smack
do it. Hey, no.
Almighty Suspect was an LA rapper who hit his peak in the late 10s. He was also entertaining, but also had a temper that would come out from time to time. Through 2022, the viral moments continued to stack up, with the majority coming from sharp interviews.
You got real game members watching this right now, right?
And
So they're really gonna listen to you and they're gonna look at your funny and they're gonna be like, who the f was this?
Well, they gotta
Why
get
the
through
f
the
did
20
you
minutes
waste
of
your
the
time?
interview.
Why the f
They gotta
did you
get
waste
through the
your
first 20
time?
minutes.
Disrespect the game, nigga. I really came from this and we don't f with you, nigga. You's a sucker, nigga. You's a straight sucker. You's a disgrace. You's a straight booger. You's a booger under the table. Some motherfucker wearing somebody's glass and got smeared. Shut up.
Now you
as victims?
What do
Now
you
you's a
mean?
victim?
I didn't say I was a victim.
Now you's a victim?
Quay, you got him mad. You got him mad.
No, baby, I'm just passionate.
Then why?
I'm just passionate,
Listen, what
baby.
you just
just
talking.
passionate.
You're just
I'm
talking.
passionate.
Now
No,
you're just
passionate.
talking.
You didn't call us
Passionate. I
You
didn't like
didn't
her
do us from the utmost. Like you don't
Utmost to
know
what?
me. nigga.
Utmost
You don't
to
know
what?
her.
Then
You
sit,
don't
get
know
up.
her.
What
You
you
don't know
talking
what
about?
none of these bitches is about.
What you talking about?
What is you
Keep
talking
talking to me
about?
like I'm
What
some
is you?
mother.
What
What's
you
up
gonna
with you?
do, sharp?
By far, the most viral moment of the entire year was when Almighty Suspect beat up a fake pimp for disrespecting him.
Out of here. Ben Franklin knows who I am. Out of here. He knows who the fuck I am. I'm
You
getting
said
money
what?
every day. I said
You
Ben
said-
Franklin knows who the fuck I am.
Who you calling a bitch
Franklin,
though?
I'm calling you a
The employees were the ones creating the viral moments, but as owners of the channel, Adam and Josh were leaning into the controversy to get views, and as a result, even extremely unprofessional situations, like Sus beating up a guest, were posted as soon as possible. All around the board, Adam was leaning into controversy. His interviews were getting more and more federal, and he was becoming more and more like DJ Vlad, asking every guest from the streets incriminating questions.
You sound like the police.
If it was back in the day, then who
Every
cares?
question you can ask me have been like a detective coming to ask me what the fuck.
In 2021, he had dived into the gang world and was bringing a lot of gang members on to ask them questions mainly focused around their lives in the streets, referring to interviews he did with their ops and asking them questions about each other. Obviously, people didn't like this, and in July, Adam made what he thought would be a regular appearance on the Joe Budden show, but unbeknownst to him, it was a trap to press him about his messy interviews and what many believed to be vulture tendencies. The interview got people talking. On one hand, the argument could be made that he was simply giving people from rough upbringings a chance to share their story, and for a lot of the younger artists who were still new to music, the main thing they had to talk about was their life in the streets. You could say that any beefs that made their way into the music or onto the internet were fair game to ask about. But on the other hand, you could take what Adam was doing as using gang culture for views and trying to pry into a world that he had no business in. You could argue that him asking about beefs was further instigating situations that could have serious consequences for the sole purpose of getting more views and making more money. A lot of the people in Joe Budden's own comments took Adam's side, but a significant portion of the hip-hop community believed that Joe was right. Things moved on and the situation became another in a long list of controversial No Jumper news. In addition to all the viral moments and beef with guests on the No Jumper podcast, the channel was also experiencing internal beefs as well. The first major one was Almighty Suspect versus T-Rel. This beef started after a video surfaced of some dudes showing Sus's chain, and T-Rel made a joke about it. Sus called in to say that he didn't appreciate T-Rel speaking on the situation, but things got a little heated.
Almighty, what up? We still on the show right now.
What's happening? Hey, where that T-Rel at?
I'm right here. Oh.
Hey, look, like, you feel me? Like, I know this my new job and all that, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I just want to tell you, fool, like, I know you be, like, doing the little jokes, and I feel that, but I feel like my AD went about it the right way, you know what I'm saying? Like, they was spamming the comments with the shit, and he called me and said something about it, but the just hop on that, it's like, oh, he got a shit to, he got it, whatever, like, bro, like, man to man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't feeling that. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I'm gonna talk to you more, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I see you in person, but that's all I wanted to say. Like, I wasn't feeling that, and I'm gonna talk to you about it.
Man, look, check this out, man. Whatever I said is a joke. You feel me? And that's how it is, and that's how it's gonna be. Like, ain't no gonna finna tell me they finna talk to me.
Then later, on AD's community stream, the situation came back up again, and Sus called in again, but this time, T-Rel really went off.
All I'm gonna keep reiterating the same statement, and look, this is just how I feel. I wasn't tripping on you speaking on it,
But what made me mad is, bro, the lack of the facts. Why don't really know what's going on? I feel like
We don't know your situation, fool. We don't know what the going on.
Speak on it then.
Nigga, we speaking on it. Then. Look, we speaking on it so we can clear
don't
it.
Speak on it.
Speaking
if
on
you don't
it
know the
because
situation, don't speak on it.
I'm speaking on whatever is the topic. You feel me?
And that's cool. You can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And all I said is, when I see you, we gonna talk about it.
When you see me, hey, look,
bro.
When you see me and you talking about anything like that, if you see me and we talking about anything
look,
like
that's
that,
all I gotta say.
we gotta get out.
We
getting down? We can take a run. We can run a fade, or we can do whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do,
exactly.
Nigga. Whatever you want to do,
I'm pulling right now. See, I will come to Tito and slap the shit out you.
Oh my God.
You nigga and your mama too. You're talking crazy. Nigga, your mama.
Like that.
You
T-Rail recognized that he was out of pocket and apologized later, but both Adam and AD played into the situation more by clipping these heated exchanges and adding dramatic titles to get views off of the beef. Whether it was intentional or not, No Jumper had created an environment full of different personalities where conflict was inevitable, and they made sure to capitalize on this drama even if it made the channel look like reality TV. In an environment like this, it was almost certain more beefs would follow, and the next to pop off also involved Almighty Suspect. In July, the Monday show premiered on the channel, and it was initially just Flacco and Gina as permanent hosts, but later on, Almighty Suspect and Lush were added to the show. Things went smooth for a little bit, but as time went on, the occasional jokes about Flacco turned into the whole cast basically bullying him, and eventually Flacco got tired of it and went to Adam to get his own show. Gina and Sus didn't like this and felt that Flacco was being fake and talking about them behind their backs. Flacco eventually ended up leaving the Monday show, but this didn't stop them. Lush, Gina, and Sus continued the podcast and continued to bring Flacco's name up and make fun of him. And on episode 31, they dedicated a whole episode to calling people he went to high school with and trying to expose him. It was Lush's decision to call people from Flacco's past, but Adam and Josh leaned into it, promoting this internal drama again with the title and thumbnail, and they also clipped the interview to post on the second channel. This whole situation was a tipping point for Flacco and drove him to respond.
Now, again, bro, I cannot tolerate that. And as a man, dog, as a man, yo, win, lose, or draw, Lush, I need that fade outside, yo. Word. I need that fade outside, yo.
This was not the end of the situation either, because a few weeks later, Sus and Flacco found themselves on the No Jumper News together, and the beef came back up again. And of course, the altercation was clipped and titled to play into the drama.
Next topic, though. But we're co-workers, though, my
topic.
Why do we have
Man,
to do this with others, though, bro?
You the snakiest
Why, though,
co-worker
bro?
here. You're the
Again, bro.
snakiest co-worker here.
Speak
Let's
on it
do
then.
that. Let's
Okay,
do
speak
that.
on it
The
then,
moment
bro.
I got into it with Kelpie, you was up here talking about he's not coming back, right? I hope
No,
he
that's a
doesn't
lie.
come back, right?
That's a lie.
Josh,
That's a lie.
Who was pushing for me to not come back?
I did not hear anything like that.
In January of 2023, the internal drama reached an all-time high when Adam 22 did an interview with a transgender who exposed Housephone. Adam called Housephone after, and Housephone asked him not to put out the interview, but Adam decided to do it. But according to him, he told the editor to cut all the parts out with Housephone's name, but the censoring wasn't done correctly, and when the interview came out, everybody knew it was Housephone. Some people believe Adam exposed Housephone on purpose, some believe it was an accident, but basically everyone agrees that the interview should never have come out to begin with. Housephone was pissed, and he waited 2 weeks to confront Adam on the No Jumper show, and it didn't go well. Adam apologized, but didn't take accountability the way Housephone felt he should, and they went back and forth until this happened.
And then let's move forward to that bullshit apology you gave when you're on the news. You're talking about, yeah, he's been going through the mom, he's been going through the health. You talking about the person that raised me, that birthed me, my best friend that died. Oh, just he's been going through the mom.
But are you actually acting like I have some kind of disrespect for your mom when
You're respectful as fuck.
I paid for the
funeral as soon as it happened just because.
Afterwards, they appeared to have settled things, but there was no repairing the true damage that had been done, and House Phone, along with the rest of the members of the Disconnected show, left and did their own thing. After the House Phone situation, a lot of No Jumper fans turned against Adam, but besides this, things were basically normal. And then, 2 months later, another huge situation popped off. Adam wanted to take the No Jumper show in another direction. So to do this, he decided to replace AD with another co-host. After making this decision, he informed AD and things were fine, but then he talked to Lush, another co-host on the show, and said things he didn't say to AD. Lush revealed what Adam had said on Discord, and it ended up getting back to AD, who was not happy to hear Adam had said things behind his back. When Adam found out what Lush had done, he was heated and made the decision to continue to play into the drama by firing him live on air, which got everybody talking.
No, you lied to me to my face out there right in my own office.
No, dude, I didn't.
You did.
If I did, I would have said something.
Well, then there's a bunch of people in the Discord who are tragically misled, and some of them are people that I trust.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mikey's in the Discord. Like, did I say?
It feels kind of crazy that all these people would just like try to frame you. You know, it seems a little bit more likely that you're just talking to.
I mean, there's been a lot of like shit. I'm not trying to throw nobody under the bus, but I didn't say like what you said that shit. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't. Fool. Like, I would have told you if I did. Like,
I mean, it's just it's gonna take you providing the entire Discord chat and pointing out line by line things that you didn't say that I'm being told by multiple people that you did say.
I can show you the entire chat. I didn't say that shit.
I honestly think, at least for now, maybe we can come to the bottom of this at some point, but it's probably better than usually.
All right.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not expect this to be a narrative that was taking place today, but we got to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm just super disappointed.
The next day, AD and his homie Pun ended up calling Adam and pressing him on a live stream about removing AD from the No Jumper show and talking behind his back. From Adam's perspective, he didn't do anything wrong and was just having a conversation with a coworker.
I was having a conversation with one of the co-hosts about something that was, you know, obviously a very big decision that I was considering making.
So why didn't talk to AD?
I mean, I was talking to Lush about it before I had the conversation with AD, because I had been thinking about having the conversation with AD for so long, and I thought that Lush was somebody that I could, you know, have the conversation about while I was contemplating this big decision. You know, I thought that I was talking to somebody that would never repeat that to anybody, and I didn't even think that needed to be said, you know?
But you do understand that shit wouldn't have got repeated if you would just went direct to AD with it.
The way AD saw it, Adam was violating their friendship by revealing his issues with AD to someone else instead of just talking to him directly.
He got in the mud with you and helped you and did what he could do and put it on his back with you. Check on y'all beefs, did all that shit. Real nigga shit. So you can at least give him that respect to talk to him like a real homie and not go confide in a who just started working for you a year ago. You feel me? And have to hear it from him at Discord. That look crazy, my nigga.
Adam stuck to his argument that he didn't do anything wrong, and the only problem was Lush repeating what he said instead of keeping it confidential. AD saw this as a lack of accountability on Adam's part and decided to cut ties with No Jumper, and T-Rail and Duno joined them, and together they formed their own media conglomerate, which they decided to call Figmunity World. They were already prepared for this move because before they left, both AD and T-Rail had started streaming on their own and were seeing a lot of success. And in interviews after they left, Adam revealed that he regretted the fact that they were as successful as they were, and he didn't receive any percentage, even though they had built their following off the No Jumper platform. There are arguments both for and against these separate platforms possibly competing with No Jumper, and on an interview with Adam, Joe Budden made the argument that them doing content on their own didn't really affect No Jumper, but Adam, academics, and several others have argued that it did. Adam felt a way about this for a little while, and it definitely played a role in his decision to take AD off the Tuesday show. Even if it made sense business-wise to get rid of AD and T-Rail, the way it ended up going down was not ideal. And Adam, who was fresh off all the backlash from the house phone situation, basically became a full-on villain after this new drama, and arguably the new most hated media figure, possibly surpassing DJ Vlad. And when the internet doesn't like somebody, it throws everything it can at them. And suddenly, Adam's past was brought up, and all the allegations of him messing with the 16-year-old popped up. As of early 2023, with all the drama in the past few months, and the departure of Housephone, AD, T-Rail, and Duno, many believe that the channel is over. But this is an exaggeration. Views have definitely dropped following everybody leaving, but they still have familiar faces like Sharp, Flacco, and Sus doing live streams and interviews. And in addition to the live content, No Jumper is still a huge platform, and they still have plenty of artists and other celebrities who want to come through for interviews. Adam has also made it clear that he wants to take No Jumper in a more political direction. In late 2022, he began doing more interviews with political streamers, as well as faces of the far right. And recently, he's been using the No Jumper channel to host political debates between these types of people, leading many to believe this will be the future focus of the channel. But no one really knows what Adam will do. The decisions he has chosen to make in regards to dealing with his employees, and the reemergence of the details involving his situation with the 16-year-old basically guarantees that if he remains in hip-hop, he'll remain one of the most hated figures in media. His fascination with diving into street politics, beef, and other messy topics, and his use of internal beef between employees for views are good arguments for him being a vulture, but at the same time, he's given plenty of people of color an opportunity to build a fan base of their own and expand to create their own platforms, even if he didn't anticipate them getting as big as they did. So it's unfair to say he took and didn't give anything in return. Regardless of where the channel goes, No Jumper has definitely produced iconic moments and been an important part of documenting hip-hop history.
Lush Uno back at it with my partner player Bootleg Kev. This is about to be a crazy one. Log in with me, come on.
Bootleg Kev podcast, special guest in here, Lush.
I was gonna shave because I figure if I did, it might have been even more difficult to distinguish us from one another. This is like the Spider-Man meme in the flesh.
Okay, yeah, so first of all, apologize for calling you corny, bro.
My bad for calling you what I called you.
I think you called me a Bam Bam Bigelow,
Anorexic.
albino,
Yeah.
anorexic, and I jerk off rappers for a living. I just said I manually stimulate.
No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. I'm back with Destiny, the blue-haired liberal, Dick Masterson, Vito.
And this guy.
Vito. Right. Yeah. And our quiet, pixie-esque female compatriot is here. The mic's not even close to her face. I don't know what the odds are of her speaking, but she already got her TikTok content on the last episode, so should be all right. No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm in here with an eclectic mix of characters, I guess you could say. One of them is wearing boots. How do you describe those boots?
These are Red Wing industrial boots when I work in the factory.
How did you land upon that as the ideal footwear for a person who does almost no manual labor ever?
You don't know what kind of manual labor. Listen, I was in carpet cleaning before this. It was a hard work.
Most of your time is accounted for, I think, pretty well.
Well, 10 hours a day.
That's what I'm saying.
14 other hours a day. What do you do all day?
If you were doing manual labor in addition to all the streaming, that would be pretty incredible. And if you managed to keep it a secret, it just seems like it would be important.
Well, listen, these boots are lifetime guaranteed, so if I have to do manual labor in the future, I'm set.
Would you say that those boots are made for walking?
They're made for hiking through the factory.
What if someone told you that they were made for walking and that's just what they'll do? And that one of these days, those boots are going to walk all over you?
I probably assume you're making a reference to a song that I vaguely remember, but not enough to like drive off of, so yeah.
That is the case. But okay, why the new shoes?
I don't know, why not? Either they're cool, I like them, they're good boots.
But there's got to be somebody who like influenced you to rock those.
I just decided, last time I was here, Lush was like, I can't believe you came here dressed like that. So now I bought a bunch of crazy that I'm trying out.
Lush wears a lot of crazy.
Good. So I got jeans, I got worker boots, I got.
Yo, this looks like a Home Depot commercial.
Yeah, it is. I'm going for the lumberjack Home Depot.
Minus the
helper
hair,
guy.
though. The hair really just throws everybody for a loop.
I kind of like it. Like, it's more clickbait.
Thanks.
The hair, yeah.
You get more views now.
I honestly, it's like part of my, because a lot of people, I did TikTok stuff with her, and a lot of people call me like the blue-haired guy. So.
Wait, what's the belt?
It's just a belt.
Like snake skin?
I don't think it's real snake skin. I think it's like $10 from Walmart. But
It's like attempting to look like some sort of animal hide.
maybe that I hunted while in my worker boots.
Yeah, I can tell that those actually haven't really been worked in.
Well, that's because I bought them 3 days ago. So.
Right, but did you discover like a menswear blog or something?
No, if I discovered menswear, I think they all say they've got like whole smart casual section. But I'll try that next time I come here.
That sucks that you didn't know about the menswear era on the internet.
No, I did, but because I was always interested in it. But like, so I'd be like, okay, cool. Because there's a subreddit called like male fashion advice and everything. And I'd go to the subreddit, it's like, okay, well, what do you buy to wear? And they're always like, pick what feels best for you. And like what looks best for you. It's like, well, if I fucking do that, I would be at this subreddit. So that's why I just wear sweatshirts.
Do you think you'll ever have like a suit era?
Maybe for my next debates, I'm looking at it.
It's so cool, and it makes people perceive you in such a specific way, but then also it's uncomfortable, sweating your ass off in this weird, I don't know, I feel like it would be so uncomfortable.
When was the last time you wore a suit?
A wedding, a couple months ago.
Okay.
And then I actually tried on a suit for my own wedding recently.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that hasn't happened yet?
No, still a couple months away.
Okay.
You want to come?
Where is it?
Italy.
Sure. If you want me to.
Yo, but why is that your attitude on like life in general? You're just like,
I don't know the trip to Italy. Why not? Sure, I don't know.
If Pearl says come to London and get yelled at by some old Haitian lady, you are there. I shouldn't say Haitian. I don't know where she's from, but it's just the vibe was definitely like, wow, Destiny will travel anywhere. To just
I feel like a lot of the success that I have, a lot of it is like I'm just willing to be in places. Like you've probably noticed this for you guys, that a lot of success is kind of just like being in the right place at the right time. It's scary how lucky and unlucky you can get.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are times where, and I'm sure you know it,
They
where like
found me on Omegle, bro. People, and I was just drunk, alcoholic, and then the dude's like, yo, you want to get on this Rod show? And all I called him is a fat.
So sometimes you get them clients that just always like, feel like they can just always have it their way. Look, hold on, don't run for me. Don't run for me. Bring your ass back. Bring your ass back. Y'all need to understand this. I know the real Shark. Y'all know Shark. But he's never on time. He wants to get a cut every 3 days, maybe 2, maybe every 4 hours. He wants to interrupt your lunch. He wants you to stop. That's him right there. You looking for?
Hey, Shark. Shark.
That's him.
Hey, Shark, man, he talking about you
Good.
right now, dog.
That's him. So, listen, an amazing friend. Amazing friend. Horrible customer. So for you, all you barbers who want to cut Shark, good fucking luck.
All right, it's my turn now, right? Shark vlog. 900 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this one out on the whim. All the barbers here, do not befriend them, because once you become friends with them, they just feel like they can cut your hair and answer you whatever the fuck they want to. I get hazed, I get bullied when I come in here, verbal abuse. TC always talks shit to me, always capping on me about my newfound stardom. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want an autograph. Nigga, you ain't never wanted no motherfucking autograph, nigga. You do the shit just to fuck with me. But in all in all, if you want a good ass haircut, you want to be around some good ass people, Quay's Fade Action. Swear to God, you hear me? For real.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah. For real, man. Y'all want to fuck with the real, man? Here it go, right here. Real, man. This the barbershop right here in Vegas, man. This the one right here. I wouldn't want to go nowhere else, man. A lot of barbers out here, man. But my young partner, he ain't just a friend. He family to me. All these niggas family to me, man. So you want to get cut? Hey, man, bring your ass on down here to Fade Action, Jack. You dig what I'm saying? Where the action is packed like Joe Jackson.
He ain't never lied. And he ain't never said he gonna be on time.
Yeah, that's right. Get the real clippers. That was your fuck up clippers.
So now I don't normally do this, right? So now you're gonna hear this man talk me to death in this little haircut all the time I get, because, you know, normally we don't get daddy and daughter time. So my daughter, she tends to sometimes, she gets like this. Sometimes you might hear her yell, sometimes you might see her jump up, you know what I'm saying? This is that. What?
You know you're my bastard child. Stop lying. Stop lying. I'm the one that's made sure you had blankets and sheets and drawers on your ass.
No.
Shut up.
No. See, this is the problem. They call me deadbeat, and I make sure her hair cut all the time. See, my daughter, I don't know.
I had hair for a long time, dog. I had long hair for years. He's a nigga to cut that shit off. Really. It took a lot. Like, I remember you asked me too. You was like, Sharp, you sure, my nigga? I'm talking about. Asked me on the phone, asked me in my face as he had my hair in his hand. He's like, nigga, are you sure? An hour, nigga, at least. He didn't just like cut me off. Like, he was like, nigga, are you sure? That's what you want to do? I said, yeah, nigga, I'm done with that shit. I felt like that was like, I don't know how niggas be feeling, but I felt like I was going to get everything I was going to get with long hair. If that make any sense, Chris. Like, the type of bitches I was going to get, the type of opportunities I was going to get, I think I touched everything I was going to touch having long hair, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like it was a new leaf. And I'm like, well, shit, fuck it. At least let me cut my hair off before a nigga get old and I don't even know what I'd look like younger with short hair. You know what I'm saying? Because I always had long hair for so long, J.
So what do you feel like, what was the purpose of the hair before? Let's just say, you know what I'm saying?
It's like, I guess you could say it was like a piece of my strength. I wanted long hair back in the Genuine days, nigga. You dig what I'm saying? My whole life has changed. You know what I'm saying, nigga? And he was rocking braids, nigga, up in the clouds. I was like, shit, nigga, I need to grow my shit out. I was young, nigga. I'm like 12. I say, yeah, I ain't cutting my shit no more, nigga. I'm about to have my shit luxurious, and it just kind of stuck with me.
And that was like, you got that for
like at least 17 years.
So, now let's just say this. How did you feel after we talked?
Fitting, free. Like, I like go to his page, I see this nigga cuts hair. I'm like, oh shit, and he cut hair. So I hit him up like, man, shit, I need to chop it. Fuck the racing. Nigga chopped me up, but then we end up being cool. We all start going racing a lot. It was me, him, Chris Peralta, Lil Steven, BJ. Fuck, nigga. Not a soda, not a bottle. It's the truth. But then they forgot to put the part on the back that says, but somebody's got to do it. For real, man. Pimping ain't easy, nigga. Somebody got to do it. What's your 5-year goal, Chris?
Me?
Next 5 years, where do you see yourself?
I'm gonna keep it real. I want to slow down with cutting, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As far as, I need something else to make bread, but on top of that, I feel like I want to slow down, and I just want to cut people that I've been cutting for years. Like, I want my clientele to shorten up. I'm talking about set appointments, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, look, Sharp is Friday, 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just your set appointment for life. Like, I want to have that smaller clientele. I'm not trying to cut everybody anymore. Like, now I'm at the point, like, I done been doing this so long. You remember, I started side of the house and going, and it's like I burned myself out early. But now I kind of want to relax, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what I think, and this is just my personal opinion, and I think that you might agree with me too. I think the best thing for everybody, what my 5-year goal will be is, where I want to be in my life is I want to make money while I'm sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the fucking key core goal to everything, is I want to make money while I'm sleeping. You do too. So what we have to do is figure out things that we can do to make money while we're sleeping. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it can be, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just, nigga, making money while you're sleeping. That's been my goal, and damn it, I think I've been on a great course too. You know what I'm saying? Even with just media and just doing different things, podcasts, fucking doing interviews, vlogs, you know, just doing certain things in the limelight, man, and just having that shit run over a course of time.
Okay, so what's your goal, honestly? Like, let's just say, as far as your interviews and like what is something you want to get to?
I feel like I've been exclusive. I do feel like that, but I want to get more exclusive with the interviews that I do. Like I used to say about cutting hair, like, you know. But I can't say that because I like what I do. I like talking to all walks of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like dealing with this might be just an upcoming rapper. He might not be on Little Baby steps. You know what I'm saying? He might not be a Lil Baby or Kevin Gates or, you know what I'm saying? But this nigga's on his way. And he's got an interesting story. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody who's made millions have an interesting story. The entire world has interesting stories, man. You just gotta find it, even if it's just one thing about that person that made them who they are. You know what I mean? People don't really talk about that. They're like, what made you? You know what I'm saying? What brought you to this road? Brought you to where you're at right now?
So what interview you feel like that you did so far that gave you, that woke you up and said, okay, now it's time to go?
The mark. I felt like when I was able, because I did a couple of controversial interviews, right?
No, I'm saying, let's say before the No Jumper, right? Before
I was sitting in Fresno.
Okay.
I was back in Fresno. I was in my room, like in the house, but I was just in my bedroom and fucking I was watching Joe Rogan. I used to watch a lot of Joe Rogan, JRE, Joe Rogan Experience. So I would watch.
What's that?
He does a podcast like Joe Rogan. Like he used to do Fear Factor. He's a commentator on the UFC. Like he's very popular. He's very well known. So he's got his own podcast called JRE, the Joe Rogan Experience. And like he brings on, bro, fucking everybody who's somebody. And I used to sit there and I used to watch his interviews, and I used to always catch myself in the middle of them, pausing them and talking about them. And then like I did it so much, I was like, you know what? I think I can do this one day. I might be able to do this. Like, and I felt it at the time that I could, but I didn't really pursue it. I didn't pursue it. Like I didn't jump off the porch right then and there and just fucking did it. And I'm saying like, all right, I want to be a fucking podcaster. All right, I want to make media. I want to make content. All right, I'm doing it right now. I was serious about it, but obviously, I guess I wasn't too serious about it because I didn't get the fuck up and do it. And then I just kept watching podcasts and certain media, and then I got an invite to go do Mark Lathan from Soft White Underbelly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that went crazy.
16 minutes and 1 second changed the whole time.
That's crazy.
It changed my entire ordeal. For real.
Then at the time, it was like, you were really having your way because you know the trophies you received in the midst of that, you know what I'm saying? You know, the recognition, you know what I'm saying, for as far as, you know, you being in the game and knowing what you know.
But I'll be real with you. I don't think the people took a liking to me because I won trophies. I don't think that I could.
No, never, but I'm saying it's like all the stuff you was doing for us. Like now it came to the light, but it's like you've been doing this. This wasn't nothing new.
This was nothing new, you know. But it was just like I feel like even without the trophies, I feel like I probably would have got the.
Warning: this video contains themes of violence, death, and gang activity. This video is for educational and documentary purposes only. This video is not intending to incite or encourage illegal behavior in any way. Every effort has been made to remove any content which violates YouTube's community guidelines. If you'd like to see an uncut version of this video with everything that I can't show you on YouTube, head on over to patreon.com/traplawross. Supporters of the channel also get access to my recent vlogs with Academics and Adam22, as well as my old deleted King Von videos, and supporters on the $5 tier will also have access to my exclusive 4-part Patreon series where I break down real crimes caught on camera which I could never show you on YouTube. But if you don't want any of that, just sit back, enjoy the video, and hit that subscribe button. Ever since the 1980s, gangster rap has been one of hip-hop's most fascinating subgenres. From the mean streets of gang-infested Los Angeles that were brought to life by early gangster rap pioneers like Ice Cube and NWA, to Tupac and Suge Knight taking over the music game with vivid tales of gang-affiliated rappers who would bully their way into the music industry. And then you have legends like Jay-Z and 50 Cent, whose tales of life in the streets as gangsters made them millionaires hundreds of times over. For decades now, rap fans have been looking for the realest artists, whose lyrics paint a picture of a real life of crime that isn't embellished or fabricated. But when it comes to rappers who truly keep it real, the Chicago drill scene has dominated for the last decade. First popularized by Chief Keef, the Chicago drill wave was characterized by rappers that grew up in the most dangerous blocks in America, with these up-and-coming artists rapping plainly and honestly about what they experienced growing up. Shootings on the block, disrespecting dead enemies, and constantly being chased by the police. Chicago drill rappers took gangster rap to raw new heights, where the stories behind the music could be matched up with the local news reports on the latest homicides. However, what happens when the people doing the killing start making the music too? Because in the years after Chief Keef popularized the violent stories of Chicago gang life, one of those gangsters killing people in the streets picked up a microphone too, and started rapping in the first person from the perspective of the actual killer. King Von had a reputation in Chicago as a fearless killer before he'd even started rapping, and it's widely believed, based on the statements he made in his own songs, that Von himself could have killed as many as 7 people in his career as a gangbanger, with more murders even taking place after he got rich and famous, with it being rumoured that Von used his money and influence from the rap game to have old enemies in Chicago killed, and going on a journey which, in my opinion, takes him far beyond a street player who had to kill to survive in the mean streets of Chicago, because if King Von's tweets are anything to go by, he simply loved killing people. And the sheer amount of people that King Von allegedly played a role in killing has led to intense speculation as to whether he was a full-blown serial killer, a title which King Von's enemies even said that him and his friends took personal pride in. Now, the FBI defines a serial killer as a person who kills over 3 people with time spans in between them of more than a month. Furthermore, serial killers tend to have an element of psychological gratification, which plays a role in the motive for their murders. The FBI also state that a serial killer might seek various kinds of gratification through their killings, such as anger, thrill-seeking, financial gain, or simply for attention. I personally believe that over the course of his career, King Von demonstrated all of these characteristics and can indeed be classified as a serial killer. King Von frequently exhibited behaviour in public that conformed with these rules, tweeting regularly about his desire to kill, bragging about having committed specific murders in his music, which attracted him international attention and Billboard charting songs, with his drill anthems about murdering rivals making him a rich man with millions in his bank account. The FBI also point out another characteristic of serial killers, specifically that their victims may all have something in common, for example, a demographic profile, appearance, gender, or race. And it would appear that King Von only killed young black men and women from the community he lived in. These were all people just like him, being born into a rundown part of Chicago and growing up with a lot of disadvantages. All that really separated Von from his victims were the fact that they were from a rival territory, and he believed that nobody would miss them. King Von has officially been implicated in 4 murders, 2 where he was suspected of being involved, but the police didn't have enough evidence to charge, and 1 case where he narrowly received a not guilty verdict after a key witness disappeared and a co-defendant implicated himself. Another that he's accused of organising with 5 of his closest childhood friends, the shooting of rival rapper FBG Duck in broad daylight at a busy shopping district. Von will never face justice for, due to him losing his life only months before the feds would swoop in and arrest all 5 of his close friends. This particular murder would go down as one of the most brazen assassinations carried out in Chicago since the days of Al Capone. But in total, there's over 10 murders of which King Von has been connected to over the years, and nobody has looked into all of them in great detail until now. So today, we're going to take a closer look at the man, his past, and his career to find out once and for all if King Von really was the first serial killer in hip-hop history.
He was in jail for 2 murders?
Yeah, 1 murder and 2 attempts.
4 shooters and a hail of bullets.
All of them was scatter bomb. All of them was scatter bomb.
Police found several shell casings in this parking lot.
King Von was bloodthirsty. He loved death. He loved killing.
I got a lot of fights. Just for how many I think?
King Von had a insatiable obsession with murder and violence.
The shooting leaves 1 person dead, 4 others injured.
Me? You hate? I know you. You ain't know me. I you.
King Von probably would have been considered like a serial killer.
They labeled the man a serial killer. Them.
King Von, real name Davon Bennett, was born on August 9, 1994 in Chicago, Illinois, growing up on West 78th and South Hermitage in an area known as Killer Ward, an area mainly affiliated with the Chicago gangs, the Gangster Disciples, and the Black Peace Stones. Von would attend Barton Elementary School in the area, but despite starting life as a fairly normal kid in Chicago, he would be subjected to the influence of gangbanging in his family home from a young age. His father was Walter E. Bennett, aka Silk, a well-known street dude from nearby Ada Park. Von was mainly raised by his mother, as his father was in and out of jail throughout his childhood. But Von's father was apparently a legend in the streets, with ties to the street gang the Black Disciples. However, much like Von, despite the fearsome reputation he'd earned in the streets, it would ultimately be this proximity to gang life that would lead to his father's demise, as King Von's dad Silk was shot dead when Von was only 11 years old, apparently being targeted by a sniper outside of a skating rink, according to an interview with King Von's uncle.
Rest in peace, King Von. Rest in peace, Silk. That's crazy. Like, I'm with Big Bro every day. My kill his daddy with a sniper rifle. This get deep though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sniper. I hit him with a sniper rifle. At the skating rink, but you know, that's another story.
It seems clear that King Von's father Silk was remembered as a legend of the block. However, coping with the loss of his father at such a young age clearly had a negative effect on the mindset of a young King Von. He would tweet and rap in freestyles years later that he simply couldn't sleep after his father's death.
They killed my daddy, I couldn't even go to sleep.
And throughout his teenage years, he would post RIP tributes to his father on Twitter to commemorate his birthdays. Naturally, Von would follow in his father's footsteps, getting involved in local gang politics at a young age, with Von actually telling 16-shot visuals in his very first interview that he got involved in the streets in 4th grade, eventually getting his hands on guns by the time he got to high school.
You was out here toting pipes in 4th grade, like when you started?
I probably had a BB gun or something. It wasn't that hectic, like, it ain't get, I just been, you know, in the streets. Also, I like being outside. You know, one of the little boys that like sleeping out, just being outside all day, just go in bed. When the gun, all that stuff, that come to play to like what? Yeah, like late 8th grade or 7th, 8th grade when it really got to that point where you gotta hurt somebody or somebody trying to hurt you and you gotta protect yourself.
Von would rap on the unreleased song Wait that he jumped off the porch, getting deeply involved in gang politics in 2006 when he was just 12 years old. Von would initially be a member of a local street crew affiliated with the Gangster Disciples called Killer Ward, being seen in numerous group pictures with that crew. And affiliates from the area would later post tweets suggesting that Von was indeed putting in work for this crew during his time gangbanging in Killer Ward, with Von himself corroborating that he was close to the members in Killer Ward where he was born, but making it clear that he's always been a member of the Black Disciples due to his family affiliation. Now, Von would live around Killer Ward up to around 2008 or 9, after which he would eventually move to the infamous Parkway Gardens housing development. This housing complex is notorious for its affiliations with the Black Disciples street gang. Parkway Gardens would later be referred to by insiders as O Block, but prior to that, it was referred to as Wick City. And here, King Von would meet many of the people who would end up having a huge influence on his life and career. People famous for their affiliation to O Block, whether through the gang wars going on there, or through the music that had been made about the gang war. People like Boss Top, Chief Keef, T-Roy, White, Duke, BJ, Big A, Trey 5, Sharoid, J Money, Platoon, and countless other people that played a big role in Von's life growing up. Von would also attend a new school in the area, the Hyde Park Academy, where he would attend with people from other rival territories with affiliations to the Gangster Disciples. People like FBG Duck, who would even claim in a Twitter exchange in 2014 to have plotted to beat King Von up on the school bus, and people like Lil Mark, who Von would even be seen in throwback pictures with before their feud had escalated into something deadly. Von and his friends started out their gangbanging careers with fistfights with the ops at school, schoolyard scuffles that would unfortunately escalate over the coming years, developing into full-blown gang war with firearms involved. Over time, a teenage Von would begin getting more and more involved in Chicago's street gang conflicts, apparently bringing guns to school as young as age 13. Chop Squad, who went to school with both Von and G Herbo, would claim that Von would even show off guns in class, with it apparently being Von himself who started the trend of teenage gangbangers in their school bringing guns to class.
Von was the type of person to bring a pole to school at 13. Like, that's what me and Herb was talking about. He was like, he knew it was real when Von walked up to him in school. He was like, he had flashed a pole or something. He was like, Herb knew every day from there it was up. He was like, oh, we bringing guns to school? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's on now.
Oh,
he's like,
man.
every day from there, everybody brought guns to school.
Oh, man.
And he's like, Von was the one to start that off.
In fact, G Herbo would even later rap about this on a collaboration with Von called FaceTime, saying that Von showed him a revolver in freshman orientation, an experience which led G Herbo to begin bringing guns to school himself too. Now, King Von was apparently out of control as a youngster. According to one story, Von actually did a shooting on prom night whilst wearing his suit, after literally tweeting out that somebody better not try him in his suit. So naturally, you can imagine, Von ended up spending a significant amount of time in trouble with the law as a teenager, with large patches of his most formative years spent inside jail cells. Von went to jail for the first time around August 2010 at age 16 for armed robbery, apparently robbing someone for their car at gunpoint. something that he would actually later refer to on his song Armed and Dangerous, saying that he was arrested on August 11th, 2 days after his 17th birthday, when he was offered 21 to 45 years in a plea deal. Von would end up spending time in boot camp, an intense military-style juvenile program, ultimately rewarding him with early release. But soon after that initial charge, Von would catch another in January 2011, ultimately spending 15 months behind bars as a juvenile, being locked up between December 2010 and March 2012. And during this time of incarceration, Von's best friend T-Roy would tweet calling for his release. Eventually, in March 2012, Von would be a free man once again, but he was only free for a matter of months, from March to November 2012. But during this time, Von would undergo a transformation, going from a gun-toting stick-up kid to a full-fledged killer after witnessing the death of one of his close friends, which, as he put it, turned him into a demon. Before we get into the first murders that King Von was allegedly involved in, I just want to take the time to consider the real reasons why he would be motivated to kill in the first place. Despite covering a lot of gangsters who are hardened killers, it's important to consider the social circumstances that need to exist for a teenage boy to start committing murders. Firstly, these areas where King Von grew up in Southside Chicago, Killer Ward and O Block, are incredibly poor and dangerous areas, with the latter even being described by the local Sun-Times newspaper as the most dangerous block in Chicago. Part of the reason why so many of these gang murders in Chicago go unsolved is due to the failure of policing in these areas. Someone like King Von grew up seeing death and destruction as a completely normal thing. And if the police never come to your area to solve crimes or deliver justice, it's easy to see why you would place more trust in street justice than in the state. Furthermore, you really have to ponder whose fault is it really that somewhere like O Block ended up being so poor and dangerous. While it's easy to blame the gangsters and killers there for cultivating a lawless environment, the city and the state politicians ultimately have failed to create the economic circumstances for someone to grow up safely in these areas. Had there been better economic prospects in the hoods of Chicago, perhaps many of these young men wouldn't have been forced into a life of crime and violence. Furthermore, when it comes to the analysis of King Von's eventual transformation into what some have described as a serial killer, there's actually an argument to be made that geography may have played a part in King Von feeling like he could get away with so many murders. The 70s to the 2000s have actually been described as the golden age of serial murder, and one possible cause for this phenomenon around this period has been cited as urbanization and the concentration of inner city living. Some people have said that putting so many people in such close proximity ends up offering a unique level of anonymity when it comes to committing crimes in these complicated, busy and overpopulated areas. Put simply, this means that in O Block, the sheer amount of people, overlapping gang conflicts, and normalization of violence on the streets means that somebody like King Von could kill multiple people without attracting too much attention to him personally. As sad as it is to say, in the eyes of the cops, a victim is just another casualty of the gang war rather than a specific crime that could be solved. And it's these circumstances that were the perfect conditions for a young King Von to begin killing people in his community with minimal consequences. And whilst King Von was in jail, gun violence had raged on between the Black Disciples from Wick City and the rival Gangster Disciples from St. Lawrence and Eberhard Avenues, or STL-EBT. And during this time whilst King Von was incarcerated, a 15-year-old gangster disciple from the rival hood by the name of Tuka was murdered. Real name Shondale Gregory, Tuka was shot dead at a bus stop on the 600 block of East 63rd Street on the 12th of January 2011 at around 6:48 p.m. It was around that time that a masked gunman jumped out of a vehicle, shooting Tuka several times. Tuka was hated by his rivals from the Black Disciples, and over the next decade, BDs would continue to disrespect him on social media and in popular songs. And in honor of their fallen friend, Gangster Disciples from St. Lawrence and Eberhard would rename their area Tukaville. It's never been fully revealed to the public who killed Tuka, but ever since, there has been intense speculation that a boy named O.D. Perry from Wick City might have had something to do with it. This is partly due to him being pictured regularly with a silver revolver, and the witness report from the Tuka murder stated that Tuka was actually shot with a long-barreled silver revolver. Regardless of whether or not O.D. was really the person who killed Tuka, it didn't really matter, because later that year, on August the 10th, 2011, in an act of retaliation, O.D. Perry was killed just outside Parkway Gardens. He would suffer multiple gunshot wounds, including one to the neck, at about 11:35 p.m. Just like Tukaville, Wick City was also renamed in the memory of their fallen friend O.D., O Block, and it's believed that one of the shooters who killed O.D. was a female teenage shooter by the name of Jakira Barnes, or K.I. Following the murder, K.I. would begin to pose on social media with a silver revolver, similar to the one that O.D. was known to carry. and her rumoured involvement in this murder of a beloved O-Block member would lead to KI becoming a major target herself, with matters not helped by the fact that she would regularly tweet insulting OD Perry and alluding to having killed him, along with others who would openly claim that KI made the O, meaning that she killed OD and was the one that caused Wick City to change the name of their block to O-Block. But the tragedies in O-Block were far from over. On the 18th of October 2011, another O-Block native by the name of Patoon, real name Edward Riley, would be shot dead inside O-Block after being approached by 2 people with firearms. Another devastating loss to the community would come when 19-year-old Sharoyd Liggins would be shot in the head and left for dead on February the 16th, 2012, also at O-Block. This murder was particularly notable for the fact that it was believed that Sharoyd was killed by a Tukaville shooter by the name of Boss Trell. As the gang war in his neighbourhood continued to take more and more of his friends' lives, King Von would get more and more involved, continuing to play a role in the gang war going on in Chicago's street underworld. Von later rapped on the song Don't Want to Be Me that everything changed for him in 2012, and that this is when he decided to get more active in the gang war, with Von saying specifically that the deaths of OD and Patoon completely changed his plans and led him to put on a mask and get active in the gang war. Now, there's a lot of speculation about the exact murders that Von was allegedly involved in, and we might never know definitively if he was truly involved in all the violence that he was rumoured to be associated with, but the very first murder that Von was associated with took place on April
We'll try to
28th,
explain our thinking on how
2012.
we're coming across and why we're doing overkill the
You
way
can
it is.
think and draw at the same time?
Yeah, and especially if it's going to be overkill, his equipment's got to be overkill as well.
Oh, heck
So-
yeah.
Always
Okay, here.
remember,
Already.
remember he's tough, but he's not
Okay,
violent.
along those lines, he's got the biggest shoulder pads ever existed. It's like
I
this-
figured he
this
would.
chest-
Okay, I'm gonna give him some big knee pads here, because a guy like him that's got some armor and got some guns and
Has to
stuff
have
like
knee
that
pads.
is gonna.
Boy, he looks grim, doesn't he?
Kids, you know, I mean, the kids like the dark, moody stuff. I mean,
They seem
you know,
to.
I mean, you're.
But I have a question I've been wanting to ask you guys.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take these people to get dressed, these kind of characters?
Who says
that you
they
draw?
undress?
I mean, there's something they have to get out quickly to save the world, but it takes them an hour and a half to get into all of this stuff
That's
if
right.
they work fast.
That's right. Getting into the costume is like going to the bathroom in comic book. You never show it, but you assume that Superman and Batman and Spider-Man actually do go and urinate every now and then,
You're
right?
right, but you never do show it, do you?
No.
But you do show, very often you show people getting dressed, especially women. I seem to recall that now.
Yeah,
and
no,
then.
okay,
You draw
listen.
hands? Are you into hands?
Oh,
really?
yeah, I'm the best.
You do hands?
But why don't we give them here wires coming out here, coming
Oh,
down up?
they
the
love
kids,
that
the kids
stuff.
love wiring.
The wires
yeah,
that he'll
they do.
trip
Why
over
don't
when
we
he's
invite-
running.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hey, you
So-
draw good wires.
Oh.
Does he have a double identity? Is he really a meek
Who,
accountant in real life?
who else could he be besides Overkill?
Well, I mean, what if, when he takes off all these clothes, is he a
Do
97-pound
you see
weakling?
him taking rough fist? Okay.
Okay.
At his thumb, he would have 3 different cannons.
Different
that are
is one grim-looking guy. There's no way this man can move. He's got to have a power to defy gravity, I would say, just looking at
He's
him.
a tank. I mean, what do you think of him?
Now, the funniest thing would be if you say that these are jets and he's the fastest man alive. That and the way you have him, we've got to justify all of this paraphernalia somehow.
Okay.
I don't know that you're really doing my character right. It's all right, I guess, for
Yeah.
a bunch of beginners.
Overkill
I
him.
just want you to, we have a minute
Oh,
and a
with
half
the
or so.
foot.
I want to tighten those feet.
Okay.
All right, guys?
Okay. Give him an ankle bone here, an ankle bone here.
I think it takes you longer to sign your name than
Heck
draw
yeah.
a picture. You know?
It is. I'm going to step out, okay?
Incidentally, you guys have ruined us. We've decided to give up comics and we're going into showbiz.